Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Metro Exodus Sam Story DLC, a Man of Principle trophy walkthrough, and this is episode 9, which I have named Suit Up. Because we have finally gotten to the fire station where the hazmat suits are being held. But unfortunately for us, and even more unfortunate for them, this place is overrun by bandits. Of course, there is nothing ever that can go super smooth. But before we head into the fire station, you saw me pick up a gas can and power up that generator. That generator is linked to a crane that, now that we powered it up, lifted up a plastic container, which will give us access into the 8th or 8th, whatever you say, the last Night Hunter stash. So you will be unlocking the Great Owl Trophy in this episode. If you have followed the guide thus far and picked up all or gone into all the Night Hunter stashes that I've showed you. Also there, you saw right on the dashboard of the bus, there is a rifle over there which has, I think it's the drum magazine and a heavy stock, which you should also have picked up by now. There was one by the police station when we were out in like the main area before we headed over to this place. But that is all linked to the Lord of War trophy for picking up all the Sammy upgrades and all the Stallion upgrades, the pistol. And also the shotgun does not count, and the sniper rifle does not count going for those. But either way, this is the last of the Night Hunter stashes. So somewhere right about now, you should get the Great Owl trophy. So now we only have 2 trophies left, which are a Man of Principle and also Untouchable. And speaking of the Untouchable trophy, after this fire station, you will be facing off against the Batwing for the 3rd and final time. And when I picked up the gas can, right to the right of the gas can, there is a chair where you can rest to reset the day or night cycle. I would highly suggest that you rest in that chair so you set it to early morning. So you will go through this place during daytime. Because after this fire station, you will go into the last fight against the Batwing, and you do not want to fight that asshole during nighttime. Because that will make the fight, I would say, significantly harder, even though he doesn't get buffed up or anything like that. It's not like he has some kind of nighttime superpowers. But it is a lot harder to see him during nighttime. And you can start going into this fire station that we are heading for right now before you set it to day cycle if you're feeling a bit unsure. But there is a place of point of no return. I can't even speak today. There is a point of no return inside this fire station. But you can fight through most of it if you want to make sure that it is early morning when you get there. I'm just trying to shoot something so I get their attention. Because now we're going to head back here. But make sure that it is early morning, or set it to nighttime if you want to. But before we get to the point of no return, then go back to the chair and reset it. But now, as I said, there are quite a few enemies in this place. And there is also one guy in that tower straight in front of me. And I think he's going to shoot me very soon. So I'm going to switch over to my sniper rifle, which makes distance shooting a lot easier. But I made a little mistake here. Because I have the heavy stock equipped, which allows for more accuracy, I think, or stability. And also have the drum magazine, so I can load up my rifle with, I think it's 102 bullets or some shit like that. And that is a bit of a mistake, because that makes the rifle heavier. And you can see that my aim is swaying a bit. And something I realized is that the less your weapon weighs, or the less weight you have, the more stable it will be. And back in a previous episode we took out a sniper. And then you get, when you take him out, you get the sniper stock. And if you equip your Sammy rifle with that stock and a small magazine, I don't think the weapon sways at all, which makes it super stable. And since we have loaded it up with the incendiary rounds, you know how deadly they are. But getting in here is quite easy. I'm just taking it really slow. I'm letting them come to me, so I don't get over. You don't want to get swarmed by these guys. And they also have, you saw I shot a mutant. The very first thing I did to get their attention. There's another one over there. And I guess they are there as a warning system. But I thought about those mutants, and I thought it would be a really cool mechanic if they had used them like guard dogs. Because I can't remember if it's the captain or one of Tom's followers that talks about the fact that they train the mutants to do menial tasks. And probably more or less use them as pack mules or work mules or whatever you want to call it. But tying them to the wall seems a bit counterproductive, unless you have some kind of quick release system and you're absolutely sure that they will not turn and attack you. But I'm guessing they are using them as a warning system. But I would really have liked if they had put in a mechanic, if they could like put them on a leash and or just unleash them. If they really had a quick release system, so you would be walking here, everything is fine, and maybe like a tripwire so the mutant comes loose and attacks you. That would be that would be awesome. But up here we have the corpse of the sniper. He was very unfortunate. He did manage to clock us once, which is kudos to him. But it didn't help him in the end. And up here at the top we just loot that box and get 2 sniper rounds and 5 chemicals. And in this episode, I've said that in a previous video that I only used the real sniper rifle, that one that he had, in one instance throughout this game. And this is the episode I was referring to, because I will be using it towards the end, because I didn't want to waste any resources. And it is quite fun to use, because just like the Sammy with the incendiary rounds, it has a brutal punch. And I like to throw a knife at that mutant because his growling is just annoying to listen to. And I apologize to any dog lovers watching this episode. That is maybe something I should have put in a little warning about at the beginning, because these guys, they don't just have guard mutants, they also have watchdogs. And watchdogs can be a pain. This is actually the only instance in the entire game you will come across them. So I'm not sure why these bandits have them and no one else. But maybe they found an found an old kennel. But now when we are heading into the station, remember to take off your sniper scope, because that is not very helpful when you're in close quarter combat. And down here on the ground floor, I think there is just one guy left now. I think it's this guy. And that is super weird. I think that first shot, that should have hit. I am not at all at peace with the fact that it missed. And I missed 2 more bullets. afterwards. That's a little bit embarrassing, but either way, he goes down, and now the ground floor is cleared out. So now I'm just gonna run through this place, do a quick look around, pick up as many resources as I can. And I know you love to hear me say this, but always loot through everything. I have never said that before. But now, when we are getting close to the end of this project, it's time to talk about the future. We are getting really close now to the release of The Last of Us Part 2. It will be out on June 19th. And I'm really looking forward to it. As I mentioned earlier, I pre-ordered the Super Nerdy Collector's Edition, which is quite expensive. But it's one of those things that you need to have it, and you get an awesome figurine with it. So I'm really happy that I have secured one, and I will do an unboxing video of it on my channel. By the way, going up here, line up just like I do, because we are gonna use throwing knives. Aim at the dog, wait for the soldier to come. Throw a knife at soldier and a quick one at the dog. Take them out, both out. Super smooth, super simple, and no one's the wiser, because you don't want to sound off the alarm before you are ready to take everyone on, because we still have a few bandits to go through before we can get to the hazmat suits. But going back to The Last of Us 2, as I said, it will be out on June 19th, and I'm a bit surprised that they decided to release it now, because we are probably just months away from the release of the PlayStation 5. And when they started postponing the release of the game so many times, I thought to myself that they will definitely be releasing it as one of the release titles for the PlayStation 5. Also, quick note there, you saw the video go completely fucked for a second, or it seemed like I had done some really shitty editing. That is actually completely unedited. I don't know what the fuck happened right there. But either way, The Last of Us. I'm guessing, or I'm quite sure, that they decided to release it now due to the fact that some asshole decided to leak out massive spoilers about the game. I don't know who did it, why they did it. I don't know how accurate they are. I have managed to stay away from the spoilers. That is one of the good things about not being a user of social media, because it's easier to dodge those things. By the way, this is very soon the point of no return. We are gonna head through a door over here to the left, just as soon as I have looted through all these corpses. This door right here. If you want to go back and rest in the chair, do it before you open this door. You will not be able to return afterwards. And make quick work of that dog. But I think if someone hadn't leaked out massive spoilers about the game, would they have postponed it until the release of the PlayStation 5? I don't know. Because I'm guessing there will be a PlayStation 5 version of the game as well, which I heard something. I trimmed out the cutscene here, by the way, because that is where you pick up the hazmat suits.
Sam here. I have the suits.
I'm guessing there will be, I think a friend told me about, they will release like patches for some of these games, so if you have bought them on PS4 you will also be able to play them on PlayStation 5. Not quite sure, or maybe you can like download the PlayStation 5 version of the game. And that is something I'm really interested about, the PlayStation 5, because they were gonna have a reveal the other day about that console, and that got postponed. There's a lot of postponing going on. And I thought it was a bit sad because I was looking forward to it, because just like many other gamers, of course, I am super curious about how it will look and how it will perform. I know there are some videos out on how gameplay looks on the PlayStation 5, and in my experience, you should never rely too much on those. They are usually like pre-rendered on a computer. So I'll see I'll believe that when I see it on my own PS5, on my own TV, in my living room. But I'm more curious about how the console, how the hardware looks, because they have released pictures of the controller, and personally I think the controller looks really comfortable. I do, but the black and white theme, I think personally, is ugly as fuck. I have never been a fan of white controllers or white consoles. In my experience, they don't stay white for very long. The plastic has a tendency to yellow over time whenever it gets exposed to UV light, and since I'm not some kind of cellar dweller or like to have my curtains closed all the time, it will yellow. And maybe there will be a black and white version of the console, and hopefully a plain black one. Because I have quite a few consoles and all of them are black, and I like to keep it synchronized. And since my TV shelf, or whatever you want to call it, piece of furniture that I have them on, is white, so it makes a great contrast. And here, once again, I'm fighting against hit detection. That one was on me. I can say that went in between him and the cinder block. But one of those earlier shots should have fucking hit. But either way, that was the sniper rifle, and I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called like the bullpup or something like that. But I'm gonna switch back to my pistol going out, and I would suggest you do the same. If you wanna switch out any weapons at this point, I would suggest switch out the shotgun, because I will not be using that much more, and I think it's the least useful of the weapons in your arsenal. But when you feel that you are good and ready, and all the bandits are dead, and we have the hazard suits, we are gonna head up here on the roof, and you see there is a zip line up here. I'm just gonna switch out the bullets in my rifle to the regular bullets, so we don't waste our incendiary rounds, and attach ourselves to this zip line and head on out of this place. Dangling your legs. I'm not a big fan of heights, so I would be quite cautious going down there. But either way, we have the hazard suits, and it's time to take on the Batwing, which we will do in episode 10. So, as always, I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman, signing off.